Okay, in this second part of chapter 5, we're going to take a closer look at the proteins that we find as part of the mosaic part of the fluid mosaic model. These membrane proteins form this mosaic portion of the model. And there are a lot of different proteins found not only on the surface of our cells, but sometimes within the surface of our cells in different parts of our bodies. And we'll see some of these functions in just a moment. But just for instance, there are maybe 50 different membrane proteins on the surface or forming the surface of our red blood cells alone. Now we can break these membrane proteins into two broad categories. Integral proteins, and the integral proteins are the ones that are going to pass completely through the hydrophobic portions of the phospholipid bilayer. So you would find an integral protein on having a surface on the extracellular space, passing completely through the phospholipid bilayer, and then having a surface on the intracellular space. The second category are peripheral proteins. And these peripheral proteins are simply attached to just the surface of the plasma membrane or to integral proteins themselves. So if we want to look at this using this artist illustration to show the fluid mosaic model, we can see an integral protein passing completely through the phospholipid bilayer, while these peripheral proteins are attached simply to either an integral protein or to the phospholipid bilayer on one side. Now, just to kind of orient you on this, remember that the space outside of the cell is called the extracellular space, and then here we have the space in the cytoplasm, or the intracellular space. Notice that, especially in animal tissue, there are these extracellular matrix proteins that we find often associated with proteins, integral proteins, to help give animal tissue its shape. But these extracellular proteins are often just sort of free-floating out here. While on the inside of the cell's cytoplasm, we have these cytoskeletal proteins. And again, these help to give some of the animal cells their shape and their function. Now, I want to take just a moment to talk a little bit about these important proteins. These are the cell-to-cell recognition proteins. And these proteins often have glycolipids or glycoproteins kind of attached to them. These are just some sort of blended molecules. These are very important in the cell-to-cell recognition process, as we'll see here in just a moment. So if we look at the various functions of these membrane proteins, obviously some of these integral proteins are going to serve in order to allow materials to move from the extracellular space on the outside to inside of the cell cytoplasm. And so we call these transport proteins. And we'll see in just a little bit that this transport may either be passive or active, and active meaning that it's going to require cellular energy, usually in the form of ATP. Some proteins are enzyme proteins, and so if we look at this particular protein here, we can see there is a space for a substrate to bind, and we'll talk about enzymes heavily in the next chapter. But remember, these enzymes are there to catalyze reactions, and so when this particular reactant binds to the enzyme, a metabolic reaction occurs and we produce this product right here in our membrane protein. Others are signal proteins or receptor proteins, such that they can receive chemical messages like hormones. And so the receiving of a hormone here allows for a signal to be passed towards the inside of the cell that triggers the cell to do something. Sometimes we find these cell-to-cell recognition proteins, like these glycoproteins. These are how our bodies identify self, right? And your immune system recognizes these self patterns of these glycoproteins and tells them that they're different when, for instance, a bacteria gets into your body and your immune system wants to attack it. If you remember the lecture that we had on viruses, viruses are able to attack a very specific host cell by sort of mimicking that lock and key with these cell recognition proteins. Other membrane proteins are there to form intercellular linkages. by linking together. They can form gap junctions or tight junctions to hold these cells together. And then some membrane proteins are simply there to attach either the extracellular matrix proteins or the cytoskeletal proteins to the cell's membrane in order to provide for some strength. Now, where do these proteins come from? Well, just to remind you that the proteins are going to be built by at the ribosomes, and many of these ribosomes occur on the rough endoplasmic reticulum. So if we take a look at this particular figure, we can see this protein that's being built here in the rough ER, and it has this little field goal glycoprotein on it. Remember that this protein may be processed not in the rough ER, but in the Golgi complex. So a vesicle transports this developing protein from the rough endoplasmic reticulum to the cis face of the Golgi. And here, this is where this protein is finally processed. A vesicle emerges from the trans face of the Golgi, and as this vesicle fuses with the outer cell membrane, notice that the protein that was originally oriented towards the inside of the vesicle is now this protein that's on the outer surface of the membrane.